Na prahrishyat priyam prapya nudvijit prapya cha priyam stira buddhira samutho brahma vid brahmani stita. A person who neither rejoices upon achieving something unpleasant, nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the science of God, is already situated in transcendence. And of course, there is more to that. Krishna explains further on, and ultimately in chapter 18 he says, Brahma Buddha Prasanatmana Shuchati Nakamshati Samasarveshu Bhutishu Mad Bhaktim Lavate Param, that one who is on the spiritual level, first of all, he never laments, neither hopes, or he's neither excited nor depressed. These two things are there, and actually it's interesting, neither anxious nor lamenting, and he is equally perceiving all living entities, and on such a level one can serve the Lord constantly. So that's the first step, to become free from the duality of the material world, because dualities are two extremes which are distracting us from our spiritual development. You know, like you riding on a bike, and whether you are falling on the right or on the left side, you will still fall. So you have to keep your balance. In this way, you know, if we are free from the duality, then we can very quickly move on the path, and then also perceiving everyone on the transcendental level. And of course, happiness. That's another very big symptom of someone who is enlightened. Very bright example is Prahlad Maharaj, because Prahlada, Hlada is like Hladini Shakti, energy of pleasure. So Hlada means happiness, bliss, pleasure, and Pra is intensifying prefix in front of the word. So Prahlada means one who is absorbed in intense pleasure. So much pleasure that even the assassination attempts upon him from his father could not upset him. Why? Because on this level of consciousness, one does not perceive the world in the same way as we do. Because we take life really seriously. And that's one of the big problems. Because, it says don't take life seriously, you won't get out alive anyway. So why worry? And so Prahlad was not taking life seriously. He understood that everything is game, everything is play, pastime of the Supreme Lord. And so he is part of this game. His father is also part of his game. His father is not a real demon. But according to Krishna's desire, he is playing the role of a demon. And in this role, he is trying to kill Prahlad. And Prahlad was thinking, okay, this guy is trying to kill me. And there are two possible scenarios to that. He either succeed or fail. Simple, right? If he will succeed, it's going to be ecstatic. Because after he will destroy my body, I will go back to Krishna, and instead of associating with all these demons, I'll have association with Krishna. Great, let him kill me. But if he will fail, then, he will become more Krishna conscious himself, because Krishna will protect me, right? So either case scenarios are really good. So he didn't mind. Okay, you want to try to kill me? Bring it on. I don't mind. I have no objections. and which of course, was driving Hiranyakashipu crazy. How come that this 5-year-old boy is not afraid of him? Actually, I think I've shared that I had little glimpse of that when I started chanting mantra, and probably many of you know that when you start, then Krishna gives you special taste. Special things are happening in the first few years of Krishna consciousness to help us increase our faith. And so, first of all, I was doubting about the Hare Krishna mantra. I could never take it seriously. I was thinking, because, from logical, standpoint, Hare Krishna mantra does not look like anything serious at all. Just 3 words in different combinations. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It looks like this is what the kids do. Me, you, or something. That they have this what they call it. What do they call it? The kids when they have counting. They count whether I will do it or you will do it, something like that. They repeat the same words. So it looked like something from children's game, this Hare Krishna mantra. Didn't look like anything seriously spiritual. I couldn't believe it. But my friend said, you don't have to believe it, just give it a try and we'll see what will happen to you. I was curious. I thought, okay, let me give it a try. Started chanting, and then, so many things started happening. I developed faith, and then I developed even more faith, and then I basically realized that I can just chant that mantra, and whatever I want in my life will be happening. So it's like real magic. And I developed such a conviction that I thought, because it was communist time and we didn't want to be in communist Russia, we wanted to escape. And we thought, let us escape to India. And we decided to go through the borders. And we were so convinced that if we chant Hare Krishna, we can easily go through the borders and reach India and nothing will happen to us. Anyway, cut the long story short, that we came to Central Asia to try to cross the borders, because there is not even the right border between Russia and India. There is Afghanistan, Pakistan, and only after that is India. So we had to cross like 3 countries to reach India. But we were convinced, and plus, go through Himalayas. But we were convinced we can easily do that if we chant Hare Krishna. It's like, there is nothing impossible if you chant Hare Krishna. And then when we arrived, I had to go and buy something in the shop. And I went out, and this was the first time I've been to that town, and I had no idea that some, criminal gang is operating there. And so I was completely alone. And then after a very short time, I found myself surrounded by the criminal gang. And their leader, he said, whoever comes through here have to pay. So basically you have to give us all your money. Otherwise we'll kill you. But when you chant Hare Krishna mantra all the time, non-stop, something happens to you. That you stop perceiving life in a normal way and you start perceiving it as a theater, as a drama. No one is really who thinks he is or she is, but they just play roles. Everything is just role play. But people take their roles that seriously. Right? That's why they die. Because they're that serious about playing their roles. And it's really funny how people think that they are something even though they have nothing to do with this world. And because it's so funny, you go around with, foolish smile on your face and everyone thinks you're crazy. And so I was just, when I was surrounded by these guys, I was thinking, okay, these guys are playing the roles of villains. And they try to, impress upon me how bad they are, etc. But they are not. They're just pure spirit souls, completely believers. So I was looking at them smiling, and their ringleader, he became annoyed, because I was supposed to get scared, but instead I was looking at them smiling. And he said, "Do you think we're joking here? There is no joking. I'm going to cut your throat now if you don't give your money." And he pulled out a blade and he put it to my neck. And he said, "Look, 2 more seconds, if you're not giving out your money, I'm cutting your throat and no one will save you. You will die bleeding." And he pressed the blade to my neck. And then I looked at his hand, and his hand was shaking. Probably he was also nervous. It's not so easy to cut someone's throat. Right? So his hand was shaking, and then I looked into his eyes, and his eyes were shifting. And I was thinking, this is really funny, because this guy is trying to scare me. I'm not scared, but he's scared. And I just couldn't control myself. I started laughing. Looking into his eyes, I started laughing. And he got so shocked, he put down his hand, he looked at his friends, he said, "This guy is completely mad, let's run away from here before it's too late." And so they dispersed in different directions. I was thinking, okay, whatever Krishna is arranging, I don't know. It was not even a theater, it was a real circus. That these guys are trying to play these roles. But anyway, I have things to do. I have to complete my shopping like that. Probably if it would happen now, I would not respond in the same way, but it was the kind of consciousness I was, and it's very interesting. If you have this positive Krishna conscious attitude, if you're really happy in life, genuinely, not like materially, we're happy because someone else is in trouble, we don't like that person and that person is in trouble, and so this is what makes us happy, right? So we're not talking about this kind of material happiness, we're talking about Krishna conscious happiness. And so basically, nothing wrong can ever happen to you. It's amazing how it works. Because this kind of positive consciousness prevents any negativity. So like that's why we can see, saintly personalities like Prahlad Maharaj and others. They live in completely different realm, in completely different reality than us. But for us to step into that reality, there is only one way. Harinam eva kevalam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And I hope that Srimananda Prabhu is satisfied.
Yes, for comments.
Please.
So, in the phrase self-realized, people have it conjures up many different ideas. What does self-realized mean, really? Really, the way Srila Prabhupada describes it, it means that one is completely off the bodily platform of life. But he also says in the CC, actually, Krishnadas Kaviraj says in the CC, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the compendium of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Oh, welcome, Hare Krishna. The transcendental qualities of Sri Krishna are completely blissful and relishable. Consequently, Lord Krishna's qualities attract even the minds of the self-realized persons from the bliss of self-realization. Self-realization is a big trap. It actually in itself is a deep dark well, because it avoids the virtual reality of Sri Krishna himself. The entire Vaikuntha realm is missing from a self-realized person. Paramahansa Yogananda was a self-realized person, no doubt about it. There are many yogis who become self-realized. It's not the goal of the bhakti yogi. He also says, translation, apart, and this is also from Majja-lila, apart from the pastimes of Lord Krishna, when tulsi leaves are offered at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, even the aroma of the leaves attracts the minds of self-realized persons. In other words, they're not yet attracted. And again, dry arguments are inconclusive. This is Lord Chaitanya himself speaking. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, that means they're all over the place. You know, talk about a lot of different things. One cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of an unadulterated, self-realized person. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajans advocate. Who are those Mahajans? They are listed in our compendium of the Bhagavatam. I don't remember all their names right now, but they're all devotees of Krishna. They all are self-realized in Krishna prema, in love of Krishna, not just in their detachment from material life. So this is a constant theme that Srila Prabhupada writes about, and it's very important for us to avoid the pitfalls of becoming self-realized. You can take a drug and for a few moments you can become self-realized. You're off the bodily platform. You can take ayahuasca or mescaline or something, and you kind of get right on. It's like Bezos. He gets right to the edge of space where you can get that metal. I'm now an astronaut. It gets right to the edge, but it doesn't get into orbit, right? So similarly, self-realization does not put you in the orbit of love of God. And it is not the goal to become a self-realized person. It is a goal to become a lover of Krishna. So that's what my comment was.
Thank you, Prabhu. And one more comment?
One more question. You're talking about the quantity of chanting, sort of quantity? But
Yes.
Prabhupada also talks about chanting purely once, right?
Purely once. It's an interesting question because in Kalisantaran Upanishad there is no talk about the quality of chanting. It just says you complete your 35 million mantras and you've done your liberated soul. You achieved your perfection. And it's interesting what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. You know, once you have this reference point, everything starts making sense. Everything any acharyas are saying about the holy name starts making sense, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote this book, Harinama Chintamani, which is a guideline for chanting, japa, practically speaking. And in there he says famously that the quality comes from quantity. It's like the more you chant, the better your quality of chanting becomes, because our consciousness gets purified. You know, because at a certain level of conditioning, we just cannot force ourselves to chant even attentively, what to speak of chanting with feeling, because our consciousness is just murky, right? It's just contaminated. But by chanting and chanting, our consciousness becomes purified. So that's the idea behind. That's why the numbers are really important in the process, funny enough. And in regards to what Nrsimhananda Prabhu said, because he was mentioning that famous verse from Mahabharata, Tarko Pratishta Shutayo Dina, Nasabrishir Yasyamatam Natinam, Dharmasya Tato Vihitam Guhaya, Mahajano Yanagata Sapantha. And the conclusion of this verse, that we cannot figure out what is the essence of Dharma or Krishna consciousness, neither by studying Vedas, because Vedas say different things, then nor even by asking sages, because every sage has different opinion. You cannot become like celebrated sage unless your opinion completely different from all other sages. But then where can this truth be found? And it says, Dharmasya tattva vihitam guhaya, it is hidden in the hearts of whom? Mahajans, of great personalities. And that's why Yanagata Sapantha, if we follow in their footsteps, all the secrets will become revealed. And in one purport, in the 7th canto, one of the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj again, wherein he prays to Nrsimhadev, he says, let me glorify you following in the footsteps of great devotees such as Lord Brahma. So Prahlad Maharaj doesn't want to whimsically be engaged in glorification of the Lord, he wants to follow parampara. And Srila Prabhupada at length speaks in the purport about the importance of following parampara, and then he makes a very powerful point. He says, we have to glorify the Lord by following the ways of glorification of the great devotees, and they gave many songs of devotion which are filled with the essence of Krishna consciousness. And so songs of the Acharya Vaishnavas, they have this special mood of pure bhakti in it. Anyone who is practicing that would know how powerful they are. And we just need to understand that, and also get the blessings of pure devotees, such as Srila Prabhupada, of course. And looks like we're going to be finishing soon, right?
You could lead us in the prayer.
Yeah, but before that, I wanted to, few Russian devotees who've been at the Friday program know about it, but mostly those who are here don't. Prabhupada disciples are very kind and very merciful, at least to me, probably, because, all the mercy is available to the most fallen. And one Prabhupada disciple, he actually gave me a special gift, which is Srila Prabhupada's kurta. He was wearing in early 70s. And as we know, anything which came in contact with the Supreme Lord or his pure devotee develops the quality of that person, and that's why, Prabhupada's things which Srila Prabhupada was using, they are charged with Bhakti Shakti, with energy of devotion. And I know that, Californians, they tend to be quite sensitive to energies. And so if you are, you might feel this special energy. Of course, these things are kept in museum, as you know, in New Dwarka. You know, all Prabhupada's things are in museum with no access to them, but because it's special night tonight, and we're in special place, so there is special exception for everyone, and you can actually come directly in touch with Srila Prabhupada's Kurta and get surcharged by his divine energy, get his special blessings. Anyone's interested in that?
Yeah. Sure.
Very well. And funny enough, that Prabhupada disciple also gave me another card. Prabhupada's card. You have one, right? You said you have one. Not that one. So, and we have special kirtaniyas here. And we can ask maybe to lead a short kirtan, Shampriya. Sachitamanu. And meanwhile, everyone can get Prabhupada's blessing. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It's pretty much the same thing as Srila Prabhupada directly would come to Pyramid House.
Oh, I see.
Because, you know, this kurta is not different from Srila Prabhupada. So we're singing another one who gets the first charge. First contact with his spiritual master. And first after many years. Hare Krishna. You can see he got so surcharged, he's completely blissful now.
Дорогие преданные, станьте в очередь, пожалуйста, на Даршан, Даршан, получше, подходите.